What's up guys, Patrick here from Top Tier Gaming, and today I'm coming at y'all with a Paleo Frog deck profile. I've been a fan of frogs for years, and I know Aaron of the channel, he was known for frogs back in the day with a completely different version of frogs, but you know, still frogs. This deck's super fun. I don't know where it fits in the meta right now going into the future with Sky Striker and Drytron, but we will see, and I will continue to play this deck because I adore Swap Frog and Toad. I will definitely continue to play this and give updates on the list throughout the formats that we go into. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, starting off the profile, we have Triple Swap Frog, the best card in the deck. He's absolutely insane. Sends a frog, bounces himself his cost, and he can pitch a frog from, or pitch an aqua from hand to special himself. He's or water from hand to special himself, sorry. He's just super insane. Love the card. Triple Dupe Frog, this boy misses timing on literally everything, but he can dupe block, which is cool. Dupe block meaning they can't attack anything except for dupe frogs, so if you have 2 on board, they can't attack. Then 2 Ronin Toad. This just rounds out the frog package. This is the standard frogs. Ronin banishes these from the grave to special. Yeah, I don't really have anything interesting to say about this. Yeah, they are frogs. The last 2 monsters in the deck, we play 2 Absolute King Backjack. This card is fantastic. If you don't open a frog and you open him, you just get to like sort the top of your deck, and you can banish him to set traps from the top of your deck. I have nothing but praise for this card. It's very good in this deck. Starting with the spells, 1 Call by the Grave. That's it for the spells. Call by the Grave is just the single best spell in the game. And then I was playing Prosperity previously, but for now I'm giving it a try without it. It just lets you play less duplicate cards in your extra deck, and play more good traps, which is the goal, is to play good interactive traps. So starting off those, we have Triple Canadia. This is the Book of Moon. We have Triple Lancolia. I don't know what card this is. It's supposed to be, but it returns a banished card to graveyard. Then we have Triple Morella, the Foolish Burial Goods. Sends any trap from your deck to the grave. Then we have Olenoids, the only one that's not super because Konami hates me. This is your MST. He's just a 1-for-1 pop. And then we have Double Dynamiscus. Dynamiscus is the single best Paleo in any deck not called Paleo. But for Paleo, a lot of the time you don't really have the resources to discard cards for it. So I've just opted to play 2, because when you open it, you have to, you know, keep a card in hand and not set it. If you don't have, you know, a good trap. And sometimes if you open a handful with like a swap and like 4 traps, if one of those traps is Dynamiscus, you have to risk discarding your Swap Frog or keeping a trap in hand so it can, you know, activate and banish a card. But it also can be just, you know, the single best card in the deck, just because banishing is very nice. Then we have the 1 hand trap in the deck. We play Imperm. Imperm is just an activatable trap, that's why I like it. You just can always activate it. It's just very nice. Yeah. If you're scared of Lightning Storm going into game 2, game 2-3, you can set your Paleos and then keep this in hand. And then if they do Lightning Storm you, you can Imperm them and then special your Paleo. And then you have a negate plus a body, which is kind of relevant, I guess. Then something I got from the guy that topped the Extravaganza with Paleo a few weeks ago is Needlebug Nests and Rise to Full Height. Needlebug Nest sets up your graveyard by milling 5 off the top of your deck, which is super nice for a deck that focuses on graveyard trap monsters just coming back and swarming and putting Xyz on board. And Rise to Full Height says, on field effect, it targets a monster on field, doubles its defense, but it becomes 0 at the end of the turn, which is kind of relevant. If you have Dupe Frog on field, you can activate it in damage step and just make him 4k and make somebody take a bunch of damage. And then other than that, you can banish it when it's in grave, targeting a monster you control, and your opponent can only attack that monster for the rest of the turn. So when you have Dupe Frog on board, summoned off of Toad on your opponent's turn, you can just Rise to Full Height, target your Toad, and they can't attack because it's another pseudo Dupe Block. It's just really nice. It's just battle protection mainly. Then we play 2 Lost Wind. I do want to play 3, but I'm just still working out the ratios in here. It's very good because it'll reset itself, so it still has value off of Needlebug Nest. That's one of the main priorities in this deck, is cards that get value off of Needlebug Nest. I wanted to play Breakthrough Skill, but sadly it doesn't activate, or you can't activate it to turn it Centigrave, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's just it's a negate on special summon monsters, and it resets itself when your opponent special summons from an extra deck, so you just want to play it. And then one of the only draw cards in the deck, we play 2 Reckless Greed. We're playing 41 right now, and I just wanted to play Reckless Greed because it's a trap you can always activate just so you can get your Paleo effects, because that was a problem I was running into, is I would have cards that I couldn't activate sitting in the back row. So I just wanted 2 cards that do something, but I can also always activate them. And then for the non-normal traps, these are the only cards you don't want to mill. Triple Solemn Strike, because striking cards is very nice, and Imperial Order. We're not playing Torrential right now because if you chain a Paleo to Torrential, you lose the Paleo, and if that's your only card and you need monsters on board, it just kind of sucks. But you can play it if you play Fury of the Kairyu-Shin. It's pretty good. I would not be mad at you for doing it. And we also only play 1 spell, so Imperial Order just has turbo value in this deck. That is it for the main deck. We're playing 41 with, our 41st Imperial Order. Yeah, Lost Wind I would consider going to 42 to play a 3rd copy of, because that card is bonkers. It's just super good to negate stuff. The only problem with it is it can't target normal summon monsters, so if your opponent just normal summons a Tri-Brigade and banishes for it, it's just kind of like, damn, alright, well, can't do anything about that. But if they summon Curious, you can negate its effect, which is nice. Yeah, that is it for the main deck Ruski. Going on into our extra deck, we have the Big Boss Man. Totally awesome. This card's absolutely insane. He specials a frog from deck in your opponent's standby phase by detaching, and then he negates by sending an Aqua from hand or field to grave. And then you can negate, destroy, and set the card, which is absolutely crazy. You can set not Imperial Order, excuse me. I mean, we could, but specifically you can set Imperms. You can set Tri-Brigade monsters so they don't get their engrave resources. It's just really nice to be able to take the card out of rotation for your opponent. So yeah, we just play that. Oh, and last night I was testing versus Levi, and negate engage, set engage. It doesn't really matter for that deck because they do have ways to blow up your back row, but it's still funny when they can't deal with it. Then we play 2 Opabania and 1 Animalacarius, I think. I don't know how to say it entirely, but they're unaffected by monster effects, which is super nice. If you make these with a Zeus, you can just activate Zeus effect for basically no cost because they're unaffected. And you can activate all your Paleo traps from hand, so you don't lose those in the back row. Yeah, they're very broken. I make Opabania just as much as I make Toad, and then this card's kind of like Dryden. If it has a trap under it, you can detach material to pop a card on field, which is actually better than Dryden because it pops a face down too. It's just super nice, and he's 24, which is just pretty big. For this deck, 24 is pretty big because you don't really have any big monsters in it. Like Toad's 22, none of your monsters go over 1,000 in the main deck, so all of your big stuff has to be in your extra deck. And then we play 1 Sky Cavalry Centauria and 1 Downard for when we go into Zeus. This is just the best level 2 monster to attack with to go into Zeus, and then Downard to give yourself another material if you have to bounce. Yeah, and then we play 2 Starlight Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. This card's just insane. It should probably be at 1, but you know what? I'll let Konami decide how to run their ban list if they want to. Yeah, I'll let them decide how to run their ban list if they want to do it that way. Ooh, then we play 1 Access Code, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Mistar, and 1 Linkrubo. Linkrubo's for backjack, Mistars for OTKing with the Phoenix, so you can get 2 materials for your access code. And then sometimes you can get 3 by going to the Unicorn and then going into access code and being like pop, pop, pop. It's just very nice. Access code talker is absolutely busted. You get to play my 3 favorite cards in the extra deck currently, which is these 3. So yeah, I mean, these cards are broken. And then I'll throw Opabania in here. She fits in with Toad. This card's broke. The more you play the deck, the more you test with it, you'll realize how absolutely bonkers Opabania is. Love the card. It's super good. Going into the side deck now. Going into the side deck now, we play one Pankratops. He's broken, should be not in the game. Triple Draw and Lockbird. Drytron's probably the best combo deck in the game right now, and this just hits Invoked, hits Drytron, hits Dino if they're still being played, which I assume they will at my locals. Hits Sky Striker kind of. It's pretty hard to hit Sky Striker now with Engage at 1. This card's not as broken against them as you think, but it's still solid enough that I would probably play it. Then we play Triple Lancia. It's very good versus pretty much all of the same decks, except I guess Sky Striker. It also hits Tri-Brigade, which is like the main goal now, because that's probably the best like mid-range / control deck, depending on how you want to play the deck. Then we have Triple Transmigration Prophecy. This is kind of the spice of the deck. It targets 2 cards in the graveyard and shuffles them back into the deck. This is super good going versus Drytron because you can shuffle back their names, and it's super good versus Tri-Brigade because you can shuffle back in their unsearchable cards. You can shuffle back in Nervals and such after they've banished all their fractals and all that good. Yeah, and it if they have 2 engrave and they summon a Curious or something, you can just go, alright, Transmigration, shuffle them back. It's just nice. Then we play Triple Solemn Judgment. Going first, games 2-3, you need Judgment for back row cards because they're gonna try to pop you. And speaking of that, we have 2 anti-spell frigates because we already play Order in the main. We can play the second and third copies of it, which are worse Imperial Order, but they're just really good. They make your opponent wait. It kills Pendulum, which is probably going to get somewhat of a resurgence with the 2 cards that got taken off of the list. You can just expect to see it again, which I'm not mad about because I recently picked up Pendulum stuff, and I will probably do some stuff for it. So moving into the future, there are a couple cards that I will recommend here that you can play. Here's just some other options. You can play the Barrier Statue with Reasoning. This will give you like a really good card to hit off of Reasoning if your opponent just calls the basic 2 if they know what they're playing. So this will just give you a card that you can summon that can sometimes just win the game, honestly. You can also play cards like Reasoning, or excuse me, not cards like Reasoning, cards like Fiend Griefing to send your backjack and to shuffle back cards from grave, which just kind of is another. It's another card that's like Transmigration Prophecy. Also, Mind Drain is pretty good versus Drytron and versus Tri-Brigade. It stops the Fractal from activating hand, so it's not really the best versus them, but it's just another card that can have some coverage versus them. You can play Fury of the Karyushin with Torrential Tributes. I'm not sure where I set them. Are they over here? Yeah, they're right here. With your... oh, nope, they're not. Oh well, we'll just play 2 Fury and 3 Karyushin. Just to give you access to Torrential Tribute way more, which is kind of nice, but right now Drytron's in the format, and they miss timing for Torrential on everything except for Gamma, so I usually avoid putting that in. You can play the Artifact package, of course, because, it's a normal trap, Special Scythe, it's pretty good. And then you can also play, one card that I think is pretty funny is Spiritual Sword of Revealing Light. This is an old tech, back whenever Grass was around, because you would mill this off of Grass and just banish it to protect your board for a turn. You can play Trap Trick in the main. I'm just not huge on Trap Trick personally. It just like limits what you can do on your turn, like how you sequence your plays. So I would rather just not play it personally. And then another card that's pretty funny right now, it's not sleeved, but you can play Massacre Restrict. This is purely for Drytron. Like, this is the only deck that this is good versus, unless you play against, I don't know, True Draco. But yeah, those are just some also optional cards that you can play. In the future, I am working on right now a list that will include the Amazement package, because Amazements are super, oh, there's the Torrentials, are super good with like basic trap decks. I just need one more Arlecchino, then I can throw some stuff together for y'all. But yeah, once I get that ready, I will have another profile coming out for the frogs that will include some Arlecchino action. That is the Paleozoic Frog deck profile. I really enjoy this deck. I've been having so much fun with it. You can ask anybody that's been featured on the channel. I've actually just been obsessing over Paleo Frogs for a couple weeks now, because Guy gave me a super good price on swap frogs, and I just couldn't pass up. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll throw this together and play it forever and ever, because reject modernity, return to amphibianity. Love you guys. Join the Discord, follow Twitter. Bye bye.